Welcome back to the Lovin Daily. We are joined by a truly inspiring woman who's shown us anything is possible. This is Raha Moharrak, not only a graphic designer, but the youngest Arab and only Saudi female to climb Everest and the 7 summits. Welcome to the show.
Luckily, I'm not the only one anymore.
The first.
Yes,
I'm
the first, but so proud to say that I'm not the only one anymore. Yay!
Yes.
Shout out to Munishab. I love you, girl. She's climbing right now. Best of luck.
Climbing right now. Huge achievement.
Yeah, I'm so lucky to be able to hold that. I'm so lucky.
Amazing. And we'll get to all of the preparation process. I can't even imagine what went into that.
Oh, it's crazy.
To be the trailblazer. But first of all, we were planning to do this interview in the morning, but it got switched a little bit because you've just come back from traveling, which is something that you love to do.
I just came back from an incredible trip through Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana.
Amazing.
It was absolutely incredible. I suggest people who are looking for cool locations to go that have really good COVID facilities to A, contact me, B, I'm gonna give you to the best agency I had, which is Raw Africa. And then make sure that you do your due diligence and make sure that you are responsible. So we couldn't do it in the morning because I was waiting for my COVID test.
100%. But you told us this amazing story about being on safari and getting your COVID test. Like, this is how far things have advanced.
Yeah, so when you go with the right people and when you have the right mindset, you must do the test. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm busy, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Literally, one of my tests was in the middle of the bush. Like, the nurse, very lovely, came completely dressed, decked out, did the whole, sanitizing thing, pop up, and I continued on, in Zimbabwe, looking at the beautiful animals.
Amazing.
It was, incredible, but you have to take in consideration when you travel nowadays that you need to take the time to do that. But I think it's worth it. I mean, if you miss travel as much as I do, I think it's worth it. You have to pay the due of being responsible, but it's absolutely worth it. So,
and this is like one of those life-changing journeys. So
unbelievable.
You're in Zimbabwe, Africa?
Yeah, and Botswana.
And it's easy for Dubai residents to do it?
Yeah, it's incredible because there are really good flights. It's not really difficult, not many connections. It's really like, I think it's really underrated. Plus the weather is incredible now because it's winter for them.
Well, anything is better.
I mean, I love this
hot.
city. I'm from Saudi. I'm Arab, I can say this, but no one wants to be here in the summer. I mean, we love our country, but it's really hot in the summer. Yeah. It's like any other country. There's a country in the world, there's good high season, low season. I personally suffer because I'm a very outdoorsy person.
True.
But I think traveling to neighboring places like Africa and other places is really underrated. So I advise you all, contact me. I'll set you up. And thanks to Raha Africa for bringing me back in one piece, COVID-free.
And if you look at Raha's Instagram, you clearly love travel. But that's a love and another passion of yours is mountaineering. You mentioned you were the first ever. This is the first ever.
Before we get into that, I got you something from Africa. I got you a little lucky keychain. I got you guys something too. I didn't know how many people here, so I got you guys one as well.
That's amazing. Did you actually? That's so thoughtful.
Yeah, so that's from
guys.
It's a little figurine. Yeah, so a keychain.
Okay, so not only incredibly passionate, athletic, inspirational, also very thoughtful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now I can go into the cool stuff. I mean, Africa was cool, but now into my journey per se.
Your journey. Yeah. Can you just go right back to be the first ever Saudi lady to tackle Everest, to complete it? Bring us back to mountaineering for you. How did that start?
When I look back now, it's been like 8 years, guys. Like when I look back now, I'm like, what?
8 years? Did you say?
8 years.
Okay.
Coming up now.
Should be longer. Like for me to get to the top of Everest, it's taking 2 decades minimum.
I did my whole climbing career spanned 4 years only, or something like that. Not long. Like the serious climbing, 4 years. But when I look back and I look at the videos, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I literally have this, like I get, goosebumps. And I'm actually leaving tonight. I'm traveling tonight.
Of course you are. That's amazing.
For the first climb that that I will do in a long time, because I kind of like hung my boots and I got invited by Swiss Tourism to come and climb the high peak in Switzerland. So I'm like, yeah, in the women's team. So I was looking at all my gear and looking back at my history, and I was like, what was I thinking? But I'm so proud of it because it really changed my life, and it literally put me down the path I've always wanted to go down without even knowing it. I've always wanted to be a travel, curious person who goes up. I emulated the people who are national, the people who went in the jungle. I emulated these people when I was little.
How
now
so?
I won.
What do you mean you emulated them when you were little? That sounds adorable.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is the dream. Like I was looking at them. You know how some people look at actors and some people look at models or singers. I would like look at these amazing people in these channels, these shows, and I'd be like, this is what I want to do. Like
it's in your blood.
It's tiny. And I remember my parents used to have to help me carry the encyclopedia book down from the library because they were so big.
Wow.
And I would like just go through pages and pages, like very slowly reading everything about the world. So when I look back, I kind of always was meant to do this. But when I was doing it, I couldn't grasp the magnitude of what it meant to be the first from the region to be a mountaineer athlete and an adventure traveler this way, a female. Might I add? I keep forgetting to say that part, but yeah, a female.
And
sorry, I keep forgetting it because I look at myself as like everyone else. But it has really kind of catapulted my career into being a spokesperson for women's empowerment and for male or female who want to go and travel and explore, because if I can do it, anyone can.
And it's just showing people everything is possible.
Exactly.
So you say how did the career, let's say 7 summits that came first, and then Everest, what type of preparation are you doing? Are you fit naturally? You must be.
I mean, my parents will tell you, like, I was born with energy. So I was, this is me tired. Like, this is me, like, I'm really hyper, and I'm wired that way. I'm one of those people that goes like all day, and then when sunset comes, I'm like,
interesting.
Yeah. But as a child, I've always wanted to do these things. I've always wanted to travel and explore. It manifested into mountaineering because of negativity. I'm going to explain. When I decided to climb mountains, when I decided to go and climb mountains, every time I told someone I wanted to climb this mountain, I was perceived to be nuts. But they're like, oh, but you're a Saudi girl, but how can you do this? And that negativity was the boost I needed to say, I'm going to climb this mountain, because it really insulted me and it enraged me in a way that nothing else, it really...
that just was the fire under your passion.
Like, who are you to tell me I can't do something just because I was a female from a region? Like, it really bothered me, and I'm sure many women and sometimes men face as well this kind of stigma that you can't live something or do something because of who you are or where you're from. So that was the reason why I wanted to climb my very first mountain, which was Kilimanjaro, and that kind of gave me the love of Africa, I guess. Because it was my first one, it's my first mountain. And Kilimanjaro kind of opened my eyes, and not just these eyes, but also my heart, to a world that I never knew existed, which is adventure travel and mountaineering. And as I started like I'm giving you like everything because so much. As I started to climb, I realized that the best mountains are the ones on the 7 summit list. So the best in terms of easy to get to, price-wise, even though some of them are super expensive. And safety are the 7 summit list. So as I was starting to train and climb and get into mountaineering, I realized that I might as well do the 7, right? Because I kept doing one after the other, and I'm that kind of personality. Like when I start something, I just I have that kind of just go. And it kind of gave birth to a new person. I mean, I'm the same person, if you know me since I was the little girl. I'm the same kind of character, but not like it kind of made me believe in myself and the ability of doing whatever I ever dreamed of doing after I finished the 7 summits, because
what cannot you not do?
You know what I mean? How could you? I went to the 7th continent. My dad always jokes. He's like, I told her not to climb mountains because he started the whole drama. He was one of the loudest people telling me no. And now he's one of the biggest supporters to me. And he always says like, she climbed all of the mountains, all 7, all mountains, to prove a point, which is true. In a way, it was my way of wanting to kill the stereotype, wanting to like elevate myself above the stigma, the box. And I ended up falling in love with mountains. I ended up falling in love with who I am up there, even though it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
I look dressed up. It's not pretty. There are days where you like don't shower for a long time and you don't, the bathroom situation is a bit difficult, ladies, I admit. But
yeah, like
it's
not
worth it.
not pretty, 100%. There are challenges.
Super.
There was a story in 2019. I remember seeing the Everest photos of just the crowds lining up. So and there's a crowding issue on Everest, and now they're really trying to regulate it. So when you climbed, was there a crowding issue, or what challenges did you really face?
So a quick, brief history on why there's crowding on Everest, because many people don't understand this, and I love telling people this. Everest only has a very short window of climbing, actually.
During the year, season.
The whole year, seasons. It only has one season to be climbed and a very small window. When I mean very small window, I mean days. It has days. And you can't just, wake up in base camp and be like, I'm gonna climb today. You can't just do that. You have to acclimate, you have to be ready, your team has to be ready, you have to have, so many, moving parts for you to be, you can't just be like,
is this seasons based on the weather, not based on what the government is saying?
The government bases on the weather, because we can't control the weather. So you have days where hundreds of people want to climb the specific mountain, and obviously everybody wants to climb on the best day. So let's say if you have 100 people, just to make it easy, and I'm terrible with math. So let's say if you have 100 people and only 4 days, or 3 days, you're going to try to split the people depending on the day, right? Or if you have 10 days, then 10, 10, 10. But if you only have 2 or 3 days, then you have minimum 50 or 60 people one day, and then you have
And these ledges are tight, I imagine.
Tight, and some of them are like this wide, like this width wide, and you literally hug the mountain at some point, and you're tied, You're tied here, beautiful sky, down there you go to God. So like, it's not easy. So you can imagine like the situation.
Wow.
There's a reason why it's called the highest graveyard in the world, because there are people who have lost their lives there. So because of that crunch, it can be a bottleneck, and only one person can cross at the time when you get to the legendary Hillary step. Because it's like shibir, like I don't know what you call this in English. It's shibir. I don't know what it is in English.
Teeny tiny.
I have some. It's small.
Yeah.
So you can't, put 5, 6 people one at a time can pass, because it's dangerous. So that's what causes the bottleneck. And then you have issues of people's speed climbing up and down the mountain. Because if you have a slow person, then it makes everybody slow.
Wow.
You can, of course, cross them at some point, but it's not really advisable. And it's also rude when you climb to cross someone without asking their permission. Don't do that.
It's a massive mental challenge you must be experiencing.
And you're cold. And like, I get cold. Everyone makes fun of me. I get cold in Dubai in the summer when I go to the cinema. I'm like freezing.
Yeah.
I don't open the AC. The cheapest thing I have in bills is chiller, because I literally don't open the AC. My family calls me the lizard, because I would rather be hot than cold. And then I went and climbed the highest mountain in the world, when it's like 45, 50. It's freezing. It's painfully freezing. It's like, it burns you. It's uncomfortable.
I can't even imagine.
I remember I was so uncomfortable and tired that my lashes were hurting me. Like, that's how tired I was, and I was like, what's wrong with my face? And then I realized that like the goggles were on for too long, and then I developed like ice.
Wow.
It was like really hurting my eyes, but everything hurts you. You're not meant to survive up there, so you're literally dying at a rapid rate. But that's why it makes it so alluring. Like, it's
people want to complete this challenge. But in terms of like all of the preparation that you're doing, let's say for example, if you're really cold, you're going to have like the best warm clothes on. What's like a piece of advice that you give to people that people may not know? What's a piece of preparation that we may not know about?
A few. So first is maintenance throughout, because a lot of people don't know this. It takes you 2 months to climb Everest.
What?
Yeah.
And it's all an incline. For 2 months.
So again, quick information. I should be a science. Quick thing. You physically.
This is so new to me.
Because a lot of people don't know. You cannot physically, as a human. Let's say this is a human. This is the amount of oxygen you have in your body. You cannot physically go from here to there without your body imploding, because you have less oxygen. Like you suffocate. So what do you do in order to prep your body to go up to altitude? You stress your body. So let's say this is base camp. You start at base camp, you go up, you sleep up for a little bit, stress your body, come back to base camp. That's how you double the oxygen. And that goes on throughout the 2 months you're there. Some days you go up to camp 2 or 3, sleep there, go to base camp, touch it, and then go drop all the way down to Namche Bazaar. That's when you triple and quadruple your O2s.
Wow.
So it's a process. You physically cannot go from here to there without, again, going to Rabbana. So you cannot do that. It's dangerous. So you really need to take the time to do this. So it's 2 months of yo-yoing up and down, which is really beautiful. And it's not, you're not walking in the Jumeirah, It's really,
Here, I can imagine. I'm not running off to do it.
Because a lot of people are like, so what? I'm like, it's not a 5-star.
No, I'm imagining these climbers up and down. You have to be so passionate, so dedicated to make it happen.
You beat yourself. It's tough. But that is why it takes long. And then after you get ready, that's not even discussing the training you put into getting to the mountain. It takes you a long time to get there. And a lot of people, I love how I'm like the go-to person for anything crazy in the region. I love that. I get messages from all over the world. When people ask me, where do I start if I want to be the mountaineer?
Good question.
The stairs. Start with the stairs. Start with hiking. Start with walking. Familiarize your body with being uncomfortable. I would advise as well to, find a nice fitted backpack, good shoes that you've worn already so that you don't get blisters, and walk in a treadmill for 6 to 8 hours, see how that feels.
So these are all amazing ways to kind of prepare for hiking, mountaineering. Yeah. It's all physical. What about preparing mentally? Do you prepare mentally?
Yeah, so, I have seen, pro guys, like super fit athlete guys, cry on the mountain because they have I've seen it. Your body is what gets you to the mountain. Your mind is what gets you back. 100%. You want to be comfortable. We are, as humans, that's how we have evolved. We want to be comfortable. So you'll start, my knee hurts, and then you just, mentally it's really difficult. It takes a lot of mental power. And I developed this thing where I call it autopilot and not chasing the rabbit down the hole. Autopilot is when I'm really hating myself, I go somewhere else.
Interesting.
I'm usually at the beach. I get a
really? Yeah. Are you like the ocean's coming in, you're smelling palm trees?
Yeah, everything.
Interesting.
I'm from Jeddah. It's in my blood. Salt water is in my blood. I'm a beach person. So whenever I get to that point, I just jump in the water, or I like to I'm a movie buff, so I like to replay fun scenes in my head or make movies in my head. But you need to learn how to have a good rhythm. But it's practice and it takes time. Sometimes if I'm lucky and the climb is not super dangerous, I can put one earpod in and listen to books. Yeah. So that
you don't have to concentrate.
Yeah, and I pick the most complicated, layered character book. One of my favorite books was War and Peace by Tolstoy, because it's so many characters. Another one was a very complicated saga of 14 books. So autopilot is very important. Not chasing the rabbit down the hole is also very important, because everything will hurt you. But you need to manage it. Everything will start. Your back starts to hurt. I used to always get bruises on my I don't know what these are called. I used to get bruises here and in my hip bones from the bag, and they really used to hurt me. And I used to always get toe bang, which is absolutely painful, where you bang. It's called toe bang. So you literally bang your toes. And I think because I don't play any sports in shoes, I play beach volleyball. My toes just go. I lose my toes. They came back, Mom. My mom always tell people they came back. They look pretty. But they're very painful. And so don't chase the rabbit down the hole. Because you really can go. And I think, are my parents okay? Is my family okay? Did I turn off the heat?
Of course.
You can go through that those are very important. Another super important tip is never start walking hot. Pro tip,
What does that mean?
Never start, when you start in the morning, when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready to start on a hike, never start hot. Never start feeling hot. Start cold. Because if you start hot, you're going to move, you're going to get more hot, and you're going to overheat, and you can collapse. You can get a really bad reaction to that. So even me, who is always not comfortable in the cold, I start cold. Because this is something I had to learn the hard way. So I want to be cold, I want to be warm all the time, but no, start cold, start feeling.
I'm taking all of these tips for my 10K run on Marina. Me and you, Ali, it's going to happen. We're going to go on autopilot. We're going to start cold.
Trust me. This any sport that you don't have the luxury of stepping out, changing. You need to be comfortable in what you start with.
Sure.
And a lot of people do the mistake of wanting to be comfortable and wanting to be warm, but you will overheat. So take a layer out if you can, or vent if you can, but never ever start a hike or any kind of sports activity feeling hot. You will overheat.
Guys, these are seriously top tips from a pro, and they're not the average ones, so it's pretty great. Talk to us about climbing being a male-dominated sport, which is changing. What would you like to see more of in years to come in terms of females entering the mountaineering industry?
Not just mountaineering, in any sport field. I think until we stop referring to sports as female football or female basketball. 100%. Until we stop needing, because when you say football, you immediately go, male. Until we stop having that stigma, I think sports doesn't have equal, piece of the pie as male and female. I think in general, not just for mountaineering. It's even, I think, more complicated for mountaineering because it's not really a sport that is viewed like a football game, because it's more of a personal thing. So until we negate that, and we just, when someone says football and you ask which one, I think that's when we've reached equality in sports. And that's everything, like pay, airtime, sponsorship. But personally, in my journey, and I started mountaineering, like, people don't really know this, but this is a while ago now. I don't want to give my age away, but like, this is a while now. I'm one of the old generation. Okay. But I started before it was cool. I started mountaineering before it was like, hey, I'm going to climb a mountain. So I faced many sexism and also a lot of stigma. I just like,
even you mentioned your dad was against at the beginning. How was it overcoming the battle with him? How much of that was a battle to convince your family that you wanted to do this? Because people look at it as a dangerous sport, right? Yeah. So you're not just convincing them that you want to do something that's against the norm in Saudi. You're also convinced. That's their response, right? So how did you overcome that with them?
So my father was a special case because I really cared what his opinion was. Half of the people, the other more than half, who didn't like what I did, I didn't really care what their opinion is. But my dad, I care for his opinion. So it was a very nuanced dance of a battlefield. Right? I would lose a battle and then win another battle. Like, it was a push and pull between me and him because I really cared about his opinion, and I could have not gone without his blessing. No way. I can't do it. Like, I love him so much, I could do it. So I had to like send him emails and like woo him into accepting that I want to be an adventurer, not just a mountaineer, an adventurer, because that's what I do now. My poor dad now doesn't even ask the country or the city. He said he always asks, what continent are you on? He just is like, which continent? Oh, okay. Like, he just wants to check that I'm near or far.
Yeah.
He's kind of given up, but it's a great testament to his evolution that he has become my biggest supporter. He's my biggest cheerleader. And
it's amazing because your story being amplified and shared makes it easier for the next and the next and the next.
And I always say this. I say that what I'm so grateful for, I'm grateful for many things, but one of the things I'm grateful for the most is how my story has stopped becoming my own and has kind of become like a beacon and a positive light for everybody who wants to be different.
There's probably little girls in Saudi right now not getting the power presentation, but showing your dad your Instagram and being like, look, if Raha can do it, why can't I do it?
I have a collection of baby pictures and birth certificates named after me. So I get random people taking pictures of their babies and their certificate and saying, we're inspired by you and we named our daughter after you. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm not a very mushy person, but this gets to me. And,
of course.
Like, little babies. And then it's been, now they're 4 or 5. So they, they grow up and they send me videos. Hi, Raha. And I'm like, oh. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love and get recognized for it and make a difference. I can't ask for anything else.
It's amazing.
It's really great.
Can you possibly, what's next? You know, if you've done Everest, you've done the 7 summits, is there something next that you want to challenge yourself to complete?
Look, I've always lived my life wanting to challenge myself, whether it's big things or small things. And when I was little, and when people ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up, I would always say happy, or an astronaut, or like a fighter pilot and a fighter ballerina. Like I always had this like thing. But in essence, honestly, I want to live a life that inshallah, God gives me like a long life. I look back and I'm proud of, and I can have a good legacy, and that I can leave behind. But if you ask me what's like the tangible dream I want, and Mama, don't freak out every time I say this, she freaks out. I want to go to space.
Amazing. So
every time there's like any kind
Love
of
that.
Yeah, I apply to everything. Every time I'm like, hi.
Richard Branson, I hear you're off to Virgin.
Because it's been, I think I was 6, really tiny. I saw the launch of, maybe younger even, I saw the launch of Discovery in live as a child. And I'm like, wow. And my mom was telling me that there are people on it. And ever since then, like, my birthday had like the shuttle Discovery and the moons and the stars. So it's kind of like everybody wants to go to space. So maybe one day, with all of things evolving now, I'll be able to get me a ticket. Well, I don't want it to be a one-way because I need to see my mom. Poor lady. My mom and my dad and my siblings. But would love to go if there's a chance, even if it for us like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Well, I wish you so much luck on your dream, and I literally have no doubt that it's something that you will achieve.
One day. With everything that's happening now, so many different, avenues and so many different directions.
In the UAE, if you're an Emirati national, you can apply every year.
I've been here for a long time. Consider me a daughter of here. Like, I've been here for like 20 years.
You've heard it here first. The petition begins now. We're going to get Raha Moharrak to space. The truly inspirational, makes me want to get out and maybe do a little bit more exercise in my life. Raha Moharrak, thank you so much for your time. Burst of energy. I feel the positivity. Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Daily. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands.